Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session where we were discussing about the democracy and evolving idea, and we also have seen the spread of democracy, the struggle for democracy we have seen, and we were trying to answer some of the questions that democracy to be based on the responsible government. Democracy means responsible government. Democracy should be based on equality and inclusiveness. What is this inclusiveness? That means inclusion of all the people into the government is called as inclusiveness. So when we say that it is a rule of the people, we mean all the people who are adults. It doesn't mean only some privileged classes, only some prioritized people will be participating in the government. All the people. When we say that it is a rule of the people, it means that all the people of the country have the role to play. Whether they are men or women, whether they are rich or poor, whether they are whites or browns, whether they are Hindus or Muslims, whether they are theists or atheists. So irrespective whether they speak one language or the other, irrespective of all these things, they have the role to play in this democratic setup. Democracy took a long time to establish itself, which suits to the present needs. And let us take the right to vote in elections as an indicator. Initially, only a few proprietary men or the tax-paid men were allowed to participate in the process of voting. Slowly, the right was extended to many countries, in some countries to even poor men, then to women, and eventually to people of all races and religion. So that democracy started developing or including all the people slowly or gradually one after the other. USA has allowed white women to vote only around 1920, children. Until then, women were not given right to vote. The discrimination against black citizens was removed only in 1965. Blacks were given the right to vote only after 1965. The first nation to allow voting right for all the women and black people and all groups of people was New Zealand, which has allowed in 1893. And in New Zealand, women and black people went through a great struggle to achieve this. The first large country to give universal voting right was the citizens of the USSR. After the Russian Revolution of 1917, all the people in the country were given the right to vote. Yet, even to this day, many countries make laws which discriminate against some communities in their own countries also. For example, Estonia has made a citizenship rule in such a way that people belonging to the Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. Estonia is a small country which is located in a European continent. So this country's citizenship rules makes it very difficult for the Russian minority people to get the right to vote. And even in Fiji, which is an island in the Pacific Ocean, so the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than the Indian Fijian. That means the person who is born there, his vote value will be more than the person who migrated from India and became a Fijian citizen. So it was from the year 2013 elections that an equal right to vote is implemented. That means one man, one vote, and one vote, one value. This system was implemented in Fiji only after 2013. So democracy is based on the fundamental principle of political equality and inclusiveness, and without this, democracy cannot be successful. So in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote, one vote, and each vote must have only one value, not the different value. If it is a vote of a Fijian, it is more valued, and if it is of a Indian Fijian, it is less valued. So that doesn't give a proper meaning to the democracy implementation. So in the next class, children, we will learn about the democracy requires active participation of the citizens. Often in democracy is taken to mean only voting in elections. Democracy means people think that they need to participate only in elections and choose the rulers. However, democracy also means citizens should participate in making the policies and laws by the government and implementing them. Even in implementing the laws also, the people should participate. How can this be done? So how the participation can be done in implementing and in the making of the policies mean? This is possible when all policies and laws are made after extensive public discussion. If the laws which are passed by the parliament or in the assembly when you give it for the public discussion, then openly they express their needs and views, and it also requires that people be involved in effective implementation of the policies and the laws. And by forming independent citizens committees also, this kind of participation of the people is not easily achieved. In many countries, even the elected governments do not encourage the public participation. Even in India, you take whether they encourage the public participation to discuss about the policies they make. No, on one-sided they make the decision. What has been done recently by the Telangana government on LRS, that is a land regularization scheme, was it brought for any public discussion? So many times it happens. So we shall further understand about the active participation of the public is required in democracy in the next class event. Thank you, children.